You see your guy. All right.
Yeah.
Having said all of that, it's been a great week. Let's start with the NBA because we got some news yesterday that I think is a little bit of a surprise. 9-time NBA All-Star Damian Lillard is heading back to Portland. According to Shams Charania, Lillard has agreed to a 3-year contract to return to his former team after being waived by the Bucks earlier this month. The deal includes a player option and a no-trade clause, however. Dame will spend next season in Portland rehabbing his torn Achilles. Now, here's the kicker. Lillard's 3-year contract is worth $42 million. According to Shams Charania, Dame will have a set salary of, that's the number on your screen, $70 million between Portland and the Milwaukee deals. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, when this news came across, I was like, aw, that's so sweet. Perk, were you surprised by this reunion?
I was surprised, but I am happy. It's been a dark cloud. It's been raining in Portland since Damian Lillard left, and now the sun is shining. And it's not about championships. It's about bringing one of the, if not greatest players to ever play in that organization for the Portland Trail Blazers back home. And it was a void that was filled when they re-signed Damian Lillard yesterday. And it was a void filled for Damian Lillard retiring back to Portland. Going back to Portland for the simple fact that, yeah, physically he left, but mentally he was never gone. His heart was always in Portland. His family lives in Portland. His kids are in Portland. And most importantly, it's just, this is who Dame is, right? Dame is not one who runs and ring chase. And he seemed like, to me, he was out of character for him to request a trade. We all know he didn't want to leave Portland. So seeing it yesterday, yes, was it surprising? But also it was a sense of joy for me watching Dame return to Portland, because he is going to go down as one of the greatest players to ever put on that uniform.
I'm with you, Perk. Serendipitous was one of the vocab words that came to mind. Wendy, was this only even made possible because of the waiver situation? Like, was this even in the works behind the scenes for years?
Right. Well, let's take two pathways to this. The first one, Monica, this is feel good for everybody. The Blazers fans who for the last couple of years have had a lot of losses, this is overjoying for them. This is one of their franchise players of all time. They never wanted him to go. There's a love affair with Dame Lillard in Portland. And for the karma that went sideways on Dame when he had that awful injury at the end of the season, that he could end up with this situation is really a great turn. But I got to say, this deal is amazing for him, and I don't 100% know why the Blazers did it this way. And I want to put up a strong firewall in between the joy of the moment and how great the press conference is going to be and the deal. This deal, you talked about it a little bit. He is getting a big part of the mid-level exception. And so for the next 2 years, he's going to play one of the next 2 years. And he's going to get $28 million to play that 1 year for Portland. When you combine the two salaries together, he was already going to rehab in Portland because that's where his family is. So he gets $28 million. He gets an ironclad no-trade clause that they can't trade him. And if he rehabs beautifully, which we're all rooting for, then he can opt out and get a new contract to stay in Portland and get even more money. And that's great. And I think the Blazers had to pay a premium to a certain extent because Dame could have just chilled all season, saw how the Achilles was, and at the end of the year, saw if there was a playoff team he could have joined. This makes sure that's no longer on the table. But Monica, I just want to point out, Portland this season now has almost $40 million in money on the cap that isn't going to be on the court. They're paying DeAndre Ayton $25 million on the buyout that they agreed to with him, and now they're going to pay Dame about $14 million, very likely not to play. They traded for Drew Holiday, a 35-year-old with $100 million on his contract with the intent to compete this year, and now I'm not sure that that's the way it's going to go down. So look, I love it for Dame. He and his agent, Aaron Goodwin, did a beautiful job. It's all great. A little interesting the way Portland has decided to allocate their funds into this season.
HD, I want you to jump in, but Wendy said so much. I feel like there's so much to cut up on of what Wendy said, but what are your thoughts on this?
I'll say this, Wendy, and there's this movie by the great Spike Lee named Do the Right Thing. And Wendy, I don't know if you seen that movie or not, but this is the Portland Trail Blazers just doing the right thing. by someone that meant so much to their organization and their city and still does. And when you look at a guy like Damian Lillard, right? When you're away from your kids and you make a decision and you're in Milwaukee and things are not going in the correct manner, you feel it not just from a basketball standpoint, but from a family standpoint.
For sure.
And for Damian Lillard, man, his heart is still in Portland because his family is there. His young kids are there. So I'm happy for him having that opportunity to go back, be around his kids, be around his family, be around those fans that welcome him with open arms coming from Weber State, which is not a storied program, right?
Yeah.
So I love this move, and I appreciate the Trailblazers for doing it because every organization wouldn't do it.
So I think we all agree that it's beautiful, but I'm kind of stuck with what Wendy said, y'all, because when the deal came across the call last night, I said, oh, that's not a bad deal at all. Like, he's doing pretty well for 3 years considering he's coming off this injury. Could it have been less and still been the right thing? Put Portland in a little bit of a better position moving forward?
Yes, but at the same time, I don't think there's anything wrong with showing appreciation for someone that you love.
Bro, but let's call it a buck. He got an Achilles. What was the market for Dame, y'all? Like, I love it. I love it. But if I had to play GM.
I'm a former player.
Okay,
You're not going to hit me.
Okay.
Come on here and say, hey, I hope Damian Lillard get less in that whole. No, I'm happy for Damian Lillard and his family.
Okay, me too. But I'm just saying, Wendy put up some interesting points, Perk.
He did, but let me tell you, one thing about Damian Lillard, it's going to be interesting to see what the jersey sales look like, since he's signed back. I know that much. So, yeah, I get it. They paid him a lot of money, but Damian Lillard also put butts in the seats when healthy. Now, he's going to be sitting out this entire season, but this is Damian Lillard championship. This is his championship right here. Going back home, getting a nice deal, right? Getting a hell of a deal from the Portland Trail Blazers and most likely going to retire in a Portland Trail Blazer uniform. See, we've been hearing all this commotion about the whole ring culture and championships. Look, the championships, championships doesn't take away from an individual greatness. It adds to his greatness. Do I think Damian Lillard is going to win a championship in Portland? I don't. But this right here is his championship. Think about this. He's going to max out in dollars. On top of that, half of his family lives in Portland. And he's going to forever be like there in Portland for us generational wise, when it comes down to his kids, when it comes down to him pouring into the community, when it comes down to the city of Portland embracing him, he probably is never going to pay for another meal a day in his life.
Yeah. And all of this is great context. And I think we all agree that you're very happy. I do want to take a look at the deal, the original trade, and then we got to flip this conversation to the other side, y'all, because it leaves you asking some questions about the Bucks. Now, this was the trade in 2023 that ultimately put Damian Lillard in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform. The Trail Blazers, now they're going to get, or the Drew Holiday was involved in that deal, DeAndre Ayton, Tumani Kamara, and then you've got some first-round swaps with Milwaukee, and then the Suns were involved in this deal. And now we fast forward. Dame is leaving Milwaukee, Wendy. We've heard plenty of sound coming out of Milwaukee this year in terms of what is Giannis going to do, and is he in the best position to win at a high level? Now, obviously, you knew he was injured, he was waived, but what's happening with the Bucks?
So, yeah, the very little that Giannis has said publicly since Dame was waived and then they signed Miles Turner has not been overjoying for the Bucks and their fans. He was like, yeah, I love it there, and I'll probably be there. I think he said, we'll see. And that's not what you want to see when you've made a $200 million move this offseason. And the reason I say $200 million is because they bought out Dame's $113 million and then signed Miles Turner for $107 million. So actually a little over $200 million. In that transaction. And, John Horst, the Bucks general manager, just gave an interview this week to The Athletic. And he said in there, nobody can say that we haven't done everything in our absolute power to try to build this team around Giannis. And I agree with that. Nobody could say that, and nobody could have predicted that they did what they did this summer. The question is it enough? And only one person can answer that, and that's Giannis. And he hasn't given a clear answer. I know that if you're a Bucks fan, you can look at some interview he gave in Brazil, and you can parse this interview he gave in Greece, and you can talk yourself into him saying that. But I wouldn't feel comfortable about it if I was the Milwaukee Bucks. And as you just showed with that trade, you know, Drew Holiday has been traded 3 times.
That's crazy.
Or changed teams at least 3 times since they made that deal. And they still haven't paid it off yet. Getting Drew Holiday, acquiring Drew Holiday in the pandemic, they haven't paid that deal off yet. And then you showed what they paid for Dame Lillard. Obviously, it's their draft control from 28 to 30. And so, yeah, if you're Milwaukee, you are feeling like that title in 21 is glorious, will live forever, is so valuable, it's worth it all. But I would not feel great about the situation that they've left themselves in, especially because we haven't seen that overwhelming backing from Giannis.
Well, I would also say this: when you look at that trade, well, go ahead, Perk.
Go. No, I mean, so what? So what? Who cares? Who cares at this point if the Milwaukee Bucks is paying Damian Lillard for the next 4 or 5 years? Who give a damn that, you know, they made a trade and all this commotion or whatever? Giannis don't have to say nothing publicly. The one thing I do know is that Giannis knows every single thing that's going on and has to put his stamp on every single thing that's going on in that front office. Giannis Antetokounmpo knew that they were going out and get Miles Turner. And the Bucks have done every single thing that they're supposed to do when you have a generational player like Giannis Antetokounmpo, when you have a guy that's been a 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, NBA champion, Finals MVP, one of the most dominant players to ever play the game of basketball. He's a top 5 already power forward to ever play. You're supposed to do everything and more. They got a whole new arena because of Giannis Antetokounmpo. The city of Milwaukee has built up when it comes down to restaurants and things of that nature because of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Damn it, you do everything in your power like the Milwaukee Bucks are doing, even if it's expensive, to make sure that Giannis Antetokounmpo stay in the Milwaukee Bucks uniform because he haven't asked.
That's the problem, though. I'm not sure it made sure.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm not sure that it made sure. That's what I say.
Yeah, like Perk, you just.
Perk, we're on the same page until you get to the end.
For the last 3 years.
It's about the make sure part.
We've been saying.
What does that matter about the next
last 3 years? And Giannis still haven't won nowhere.
Hold on. So Perk, if you are Giannis heading into the 2020, what's this year? 2025-26 season, Dame is gone, long gone. That's a wrap. Miles Turner is your big addition. No real changes on the coaching staff. Yeah, you got some young guys you think you might be able to groom. Are you good about your opportunity to contend for a title, assuming that that is the focus, if you're Giannis?
Hell yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Giannis has been the best player. Giannis has been the best player in the Eastern Conference consistently over the last 10 years. And when you look at the Eastern Conference, we just came on here, us 4 was on television yesterday on this platform talking about how a disaster the Philadelphia 76ers are. And so when you look at the East, the Boston Celtics are in the rebuild. The only teams that are ahead of the Milwaukee Bucks, in my opinion, is the Cleveland Cavaliers and the New York Knicks. So when I look at adding the Miles Turner, when I look at keeping a guy like Gary Trent Jr. who balled the hell out,
he
just had a couple mishaps where he couldn't catch the ball, but he balled the hell out. I'm looking at the Milwaukee Bucks and I'm saying to myself, let's give it another run. And if you're Giannis, you're okay with it as well.
HD, you agree?
Well, no, I don't agree.
Okay.
When I look at the Eastern Conference, like, you got to mention the Detroit Pistons. You now have to mention the Atlanta Hawks and all the moves that they made. And here's my thing. If I'm Giannis and I'm looking at my roster right now, who is my Robin?
Yeah, it's a rotating Robin.
Who is my Robin? Who is going to have my back through thick and thin? Who is my Robin?
Yes, okay. By committee.
I don't like that. I don't like my Robin being by committee.
Go, Perk.
Question. The problem that we have, again, is that we keep looking for the household names. Did anybody expect the Indiana Pacers last year to be in the NBA Finals representing the Eastern Conference?
But they have a Robin,
No one
though.
on this panel right now.
Siakam is the Robin, Perk.
Yeah, you know now that he's the Robin. You wasn't saying that last year at the beginning of the
What you
season.
talking about?
Nah, Perk, you knew
What are
that.
you talking about? See, Perk, come
Harry.
on, man.
Let me ask y'all a question. Harry, Monica, since y'all, you know what I'm saying, first of all, y'all keep a cool booty. We good. Happy Friday. Second of all, let me ask y'all a question. Who did y'all have coming out of the Eastern Conference last year? It sure wasn't the Indiana Pacers.
I had Boston.
I had Boston, too.
I had Boston.
Okay, and then after that, who was next?
The New York Knicks, baby.
Yeah.
Ow!
What I'm trying to explain to you guys is give it a chance. You know what I'm saying? The East is wide open again.
Okay.
We're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. Doc Rivers was in Summer League saying he's thrilled, basically, about Giannis Antetokounmpo playing the point forward. Did you see the numbers that Giannis was putting up towards the end of the year? We know he's going to fill the box score up when it comes down to the rebounds and the points, but the man had 20 assists in the game. He was putting up some Jokic-type numbers when it comes down to dishing and making guys around him better. All I'm saying is I'm not mad at the Bucks at all. I don't think that Giannis is going anywhere. We've been saying this for the last 3 to 4 years, and every single season, Giannis Antetokounmpo is in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform.
All right, okay. I love the. Come on,
Perk, a lot of what you said makes a ton of sense. I'm just going to say one thing. If I'm a Bucks fan, I hope Giannis is tuned into that press conference when Dame comes back, because I want that Dame energy from Giannis, because Dame is going where he wants to be at home, regardless of what his team can do. And that's what their Bucks are going to need from Giannis.